So, very importantly, we have to look at, since you're going to use, since we're looking at you can't say you're playing instrument and you don't know about the way to handle the keys, the notes, and it's important to know that the fact that you know the song, the fact that you know the tonic solfa does not mean you can play it on every keys. It's important that we know how to handle keys in music, especially now you're playing with a violin. In this aspect, I'm going to play Amazing Grace for you now, and I'm going to play it on a particular key just to show you how keys work. Alright, play it on this. That's one key now. And since you are familiar with tonic solfa already for Amazing Grace, and so I'll play the same tonic solfa on another key now. Okay, let's see. That's unlucky. I sounded different from the other one. I'll play unlucky now. Okay, that's one. Let's get it. They're all the same song but played on different keys. Okay, so fine song but different keys. So it's important we know how it works. The fact that you have the key, the fact that you have a key does not mean that that key can open any door. I've tried it before earlier. I was wondering why I could not play that particular. The sound is the same song, but I could not flow with the music because they are probably singing on one key and I'm playing on that key. The same song, same tonic solfas, but a different key. Now that you know that the keys are important for you to handle the song properly, now we're going to look at one thing is we're going to look at So, I'll first look at the G scale. The first song I played was on D. So I played. That's on D. G will appear to be like this. This is that one song looks lower, one song looks higher. So we've talked about that music is made up of letters, and to understand music you cannot do without the lettering. And I said music has 7 letters. The eighth one is called a octave. So let's assume we're saying do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. That's a complete letter. Do, that's an octave made up of 8. Like that's when you're saying do is going to be called an octave. If I say give me the octave, G octave or octave for G, or give me the octave or the diatonic scales, you can give me do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That makes an octave, okay? So, and you take note that the higher do is starting up another octave. Alright. So, since we're looking at G, and we said music is of letters, we're saying it starts from A and ends in G. Although some music teacher will say you can have H, but that H is not commonly used. Some other music theory we want to bring in letter H, but commonly we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The next letter becomes A, B, C, D. So it's A to G to G, A to G, A to G. So that is going to be. And please take note. We'll find out. You will notice something when we go about the notes now. So for G, like what we've seen for G, if you follow up with the notes already, you'll have seen that the G scale has been given. The G scale is happening to be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Then G, which makes it an octave. Okay, so G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Exactly. So I would like to I'll show you the picture of the G scale now. G scale on the violin. G scale on violin. So if you take note, you will find that as we'll be having the first on the open string. We're having G, and we're having A, B, C, an open string again. We're having your D, your E, your F, your G. I hope that's clear. So if you see the diagram properly now, you see G, A, B, C, D, A, E, F sharp, G. I like this very well because it shows us those keys that are scaled on G on the violin. I like this very well. Now already you should be familiar with the go down 8 on which stands for the 4 strings on the violin. Okay, so every music you play on G is around this. And if you notice that we're having more than one G there, we're having about 3 G's there. So, and from the first G, it's lower, the second G is higher, and the third one will be higher than the other one. So, like you're saying, and that simply means that it's not because all the G's are the same. No, one G is lower than the other G. As if we're having G, 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 So let me play a song having to do with me moving iron. Okay, I play Trust and Obey. Trust and Obey. Oh, so I play Trust and Obey too. I'd have loved to play The Amazing Grace, but let me focus on Amazing Grace. I think that's fine. Okay, let's go. Higher now. Now, so don't follow my enjoyment. Just follow the sound you are hearing. One is lower. Amazing grace, oh, see the sound, amazing grace. Ah, oh, that song. Okay, so that's talking about. So if you see the first G is standing for the lower, this is lower than the. If you understand the sound from a very low end, you're going to be progressing. So they're still on the same keys. You're not changing keys now. You're just moving I around the same scale. So you see that those are the ones for G scale. It's important. Now I'm placing this for you just so that you can see that your violin is made up of several keys. So if you notice that every part of your fingerboard has notes. Now I can hear them say, you can hear it like this. That's your violin of all the keys, every key and several kind of keys. Now if you check it, each of those keys, every of those sounds have a note name. So every sound you play has a note. Okay, if you check it, you notice that you have, and I believe you should take your time for it. You should have this one since you can check it by yourself. So it's important to know that every one of them have the notes. And if you notice that you are seeing, starting from the first one, G3, you can see G3 notes. You can see it on several scales. You can see other 50 octave note, A4 note, and so it tells you that they have levels. Exactly, it tells you that they have levels. It tells you they all have levels. Okay. that's about that. So now let's see how these notes are being derived. You don't just call any note, and you don't just pick up any. Let's say you want to play for C, like you don't just draft any. How are they being picked up? How are they being arranged so that you can easily scale your notes by yourself? So for example, I said that if you want to play on G, these are the scales for G. I said G is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, sharp, F sharp, and G. So take note that already you're familiar with the fact that, so you should take note, you find that you need to know that there's space for everything. In music we have what we call tone and semitone. Now if you see your music, if you see your violin notes, what's on the screen, if you check it now, you notice that each of them have spaces. They're not just anyhow. You don't just clone them. Some of the notes are closer to the other ones than others. If you see the first one is G, the next one happens to be, the next note you see is B sharp, right above A flat. Before you know, and they are very close together. Actually, they are together. It's just that we can write them. If I say, okay, I think I'll say that so I don't get it confused. If you see G, you see B sharp, A flat, A. Then go down, you see A sharp, B flat, then E. Let me explain what that means. Don't get confused. If you get confused now, you're going to get missing. So it's not really hard. If you notice that, so what I want you to know is that some of them are placed very close together, others are placed far apart. Those are placed far apart, they call that tone. I want to describe tone as this. Let's assume, okay, fine, I have this now. I have this. Let me use this. Let's assume this is a tone. Long. This is a tone, this is 1. By the time I break it into 2, it becomes half. So this is a semitone, this is a semitone, this is a semitone, and this is a tone when they are together. When it's complete 1. If I break it, this becomes a semitone. So what is between now if you check it, what is between G and A? Between G and A is a tone. A tone. What is between G and B sharp or A flat is a semitone. And they're important. If you don't obey this law, if you don't obey these rules, you won't get your music straight. So between G and A is a tone. Between G and A flat is a semitone. We call it half step or a semitone, half tone. Sometimes it's represented with small st or small letter t, st or that for semitone. But if you see a capital letter T, it is representing tone, a whole note. They call it whole notes too. They can call it whole note, W-H-O-L-E, whole notes or a tone. Okay, so that's about that. Now, let's go on. Now, if you check between, I would like to show that G scale again, so that we can follow that one. Now, let's follow that G scale again now, since you already know what we're going to. Because G scale, since we are working on G scale, let's see how G scale is in place. Which one is closer? Which one is semitone? Which one is whole notes? Okay, let's see G scale. Yeah, G scale. Now, if you check that G scale very well, you see that you notice that between G and A is a tone. semitone. Between A and B is a tone. But between B and C, what do you have? Semitone. Between C and D is a tone. Although it's not shown on this picture. If you see on this picture, it is shown. If you see between C and D, it is a tone. That's if you want to keep on tracing those scales on just one string. If you want to keep tracing them, they are all here. You can trace them. Like we have do, re, mi. I'll go again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do. You can play them on one string. You can also do that with just one. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. On to the next string. So don't forget. So the only thing that matters is the spacing. So between C and D is a tone, even though that the D now, this other D is on a new string down. No, I told you it was go down on it. So this D is the reason why you have D up there. The music, the sound, the letters are following each other carefully. G, A, B, C, then D. Do you get it? So, if you notice now if you get that C is, between C and D is one tone. Between D and E, how many tones also? We also have one tone. Between E and F sharp, between E and F sharp, one tone. Between D and E, one tone. Between E and F sharp, one tone. Then between F sharp, between E and F sharp is one tone. Between F sharp and G is a semitone. Half tone, a semitone. Okay, if that's clear. So now, between G and A is what? One tone. Between A and B is one tone. Between B and C, semitone. Between C and D, one tone. Between D and E, one tone. Between E and F sharp, between E and F sharp, one tone. Between F sharp and G, one tone. Semitone. Is that clear? So that is how you get their scales. Every instrument works with this. Yes, that I can think of or know about. All of them, this is how they derive their own song, their own skills, including keyboard, guitar, everything. They all follow the same law. Now, if you check it, so if I ask you now, you notice that I'm saying, let's see, for you to get the tone spacing for a octave, which is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Let's see how we get it. We have tone. Let's count how many tones we have in an octave. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. Am I correct? Yeah. Okay, check it out. So, if you can obey this rule, get everything straight. Is that clear? So that's about that for G. That's about that for G. You follow the same rule for D. You follow the same rule for all the letters. You get it. So I'm putting this on the screen again to see now to imagine every keys on this plate. Now you notice that every one of them have spacing. Every one of them have spacing. Now, if you are looking very carefully, okay, let's follow that. Every one of them have their spacing, and they follow the same rule: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Can we see together? Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone, tone, semitone. That's 2 tone before semitone, 3 tone before the next semitone. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Is that clear? Alright. So that's concerning scales. Now on the you can now see all the scales. Complete scales. All the scales on. Is that clear? So that's about that. Now one of the easiest to get is for C, because C does not have sharp or flats, and I would like to explain how sharp and flat works. I'm coming. Let's first deal with C. C just made up of If you notice that D is also a bit different. It's different. Notice that B is also different. C is also not. C is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. While G is G. G is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. C is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if you take note that any note that starts must end the note. When we start with C, we're ending with the new note. The octave will become C, ending it. That's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The note that starts is what is also ending it, or beginning this note. Is that clear? Okay. And that's what that. So we have several notes we are seeing now. We are seeing the note for E as E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. They just follow the same tone. And if you see the tone line, that's how it works. So it's easy for you to get it, all the tones you want to get. Okay, very important to do. Very fine. Thank you. So let me play something. I'll play a song using these letters. So that this letter actually is important when you're trying to read music sheets. You need this knowledge. And times will come when you need this knowledge in some other area also. But it is very important. It's important you learn it, and for you to know what you are doing, how to handle your instrument. Now, so let's see. Since I'm playing on G now, I'm going to play. Okay, I'm going to play some on G. I'll play the same Amazing Grace, which is since you know the tonic stuff already. So, B. Okay, sorry. I'll take it again. Alright. D, G, B, G, B, A, G, E, G, E, G. So that's it. Now, if you're going to go into music class fully, you go through this. It's fine. Okay, so let's have this for now.